One of the integrations that we have done, if you go back into your initials in the upper right corner and you go to integrations, we have a new integration down here, actually two new ones. One is for Gamma. Whenever you go into Gamma, there basically it just needs an API key. You'd have to get a Gamma account. It does give use this try button, try Gamma. It'll open up the Gamma information, and this is some that I've done. I use Gamma. Whenever you set up a trial through us, you're given a I think it's 400 credits into your system, into your account whenever you set up a trial. And with that 400 credits, you can create different types of presentations of different types. Now you can just use it from this account itself, just from Gamma itself. So you go into the API keys section here and you say generate an API key. You give it a name. I just give it Sam. And then it's going to give you a big long string of characters, which is your API key. You take that API key and you put it back into the Gamma integration piece right here, and save that and say connect Gamma. What it does then is it sets up a connection between Sam and Gamma so that you can do some really, really interesting things. We've added it so far into two different places. One of the places is in our generations area, where if you want to use one of our things to do some generations for content. This is something that Cody set up before I got involved, which was the ability to set up and use ChatGPT style stuff, but not have to understand prompt generation, prompt engineering, where you can go in there and say, well, I want to create something in my conversions section for a lead magnet or something. I can go into conversions. Maybe I want to create a lead magnet. Maybe it's a frequently asked questions type thing. You go in and you specify some information. So for me, maybe I'm doing something with downsizing and senior living. I became a senior this past year. Doesn't seem possible.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. What's your voice and stuff, and then you can come in here and you can specify the objective of this lead magnet piece. So you can come in here and say, well, I want to create something that has this type of stuff. And I won't go through the entire process, but it takes you step by step through creating some content. I've already got some saved, and I'm just going to go through that. So whenever you come in now, if you have a Gamma API key in there, it now has the ability to say, well, you can create Gamma items on on one of the generations that's been done. So let me just go into this one, just as a for instance. So this is a downsizing senior living piece. I'm just going to load this up. So through the generation piece, it created a frequently asked question guide. Is all it did. And it just created the text for it. Well, now we've got this button here for send to Gamma. If you have a Gamma API key in your settings in there, this button will show. If you don't, then it won't show. But whenever you click on that, it will open up and it will give you a place where you can put in, it'll take this data and it will use that data to do a presentation. You just kind of scroll down to the bottom. You can tell it how many pages you want that presentation to be, what language do you want to be in. And yes, we have Spanish in there for you. The type of format that you'd want it in, whether it's a presentation or a document or a social media post of some sort. And then you say generate presentation. it will then send all this data and stuff to Gamma, and Gamma will build it out for you, which is really, really cool. Now, if you also have a Manus API key, Manus is another integration that we added. And what Manus does is similar to ChatGPT, where you can give it a prompt, but what it does is it does deep research. So I might say something like, well, navigating the costs of senior living. Actually, no, we go into Manus in here, and I give it the objective. I say, give me all the senior living locations and their average cost in Bolivar, Missouri. So you put in the objective of what you want it to research for you, and then it goes out and it will hit all the different websites in that area. It researches, and it may take 5, 10, 15 minutes to get, depending on what you want. It will go through and it'll create content for you from whatever you specified, but it's doing deep research elements. So it's finding all kinds of stuff. And if you've included that, you can include some additional instructions to send to Gamma, and it'll take all that data plus all your data and build out some really cool content. What does it build out? Well, down here at the bottom, once it does generate, and it, again, I won't go through it because it does take some time, but it'll generate this new area here for Gamma presentations. And you can do it multiple times. So in this case, I've done it 3 or 4 times, for things. But I can come here and it does 2 things. It creates basically a presentation for a web presentation. So it'll have a URL for it, but it will also download a PDF version of it as well. So I can come here and I can click on download this PDF, and it will show you all the things that it did. Now, I just told it on this one, just give me a 1-pager for senior living in Bolivar, Missouri. What's the average cost and stuff like that. So it kind of breaks it out and shows some stuff. But it just made a pretty looking. Now, I chose the theme. There's all kinds of themes and stuff in there, but you can choose a theme and put it in there. I just did a 1-pager on that one. For another one that I did, let me see here. So this one is I think this is a 12-pager, but it creates this, I mean, the images, the content that was generated from Sam is used to generate this stuff. So within just a matter of minutes, it has created this entire presentation that you can turn around and use as a PDF, as an attachment to your content. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do to use this. Once it creates it, then it puts it into the area here to show you what you've created. And then you also have the ability to say, well, add this PDF file to my document library. So then you can use it as your attachments inside of your emails that get sent. But each one of these that have the little G on here are things that Gamma has been created to do things for it. So here's like a first-time homebuyer piece. If I look at the PDF on it, your ultimate guide to first-time homebuyer. This was content generated from Sam, but then turn around and put into a Gamma presentation. How great is that?
Nice.
So, put in all your information. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do. Now, once you have it, you can go back into your Gamma account and say, if you want a different theme, they've got all kinds of different themes that you can pick and choose from. You can specify which theme you prefer and use it all the time as your default. Or if you want to change them up each time, you can do that. Inside of Gamma, you can do all the changing and stuff that you want. And then whenever it generates it the next time, it does that piece for you. So Gamma is amazing. I love it, especially for creating content that you want to look good. You don't want to have to spend lots of time building out the material for it. This is like the cream of the crop.